Here I'm asked to graph at least 2 cycles of the following trig functions. I'm skipping a. I think a was probably a tangent function, which I'm not as focused on this year. So for this one here, I'm really just focused on my cosine function. A couple things about that function here. To start, I'm given cosine is positive. Sorry, I'll rewind here. The cosine function, and it's positive, meaning that I'm going to start at the maximum value and then I'm going to end at the maximum value for a single period. Since I'm saying 2 cycles, I'm going to do this whole process a second time. So my final answer should really look like this. From there, I have my midline is always told to me by this k value here. So let me make my graph go negative as well. And we'll call that 1, 2, and -3. There's my midline. The amplitude here is 2, meaning I'm going to go 2 up from the midline and 2 down from the midline, and that tells me my minimum and maximum value. So just to label this, this is -3, -1, and -5. Now, for the period, I need to know like the distance from the starting point to the ending point there, and that's 2 pi divided by the b value. In this case, the b value is just 1. So my whole period is just going to be 2 pi. So I'm going to give this ambiguous spot right here the value of 2 pi, which means doubling that would be 4 pi. So my first period is going to be between 0 and 2 pi because I don't shift anything. There's no h value inside of that. So I'm just going to start at 0 and go to 2 pi. So my final graph here in purple, remember looking back at my original function, I start at the maximum value and I end at the maximum value. The halfway point is going to be at the minimum value of a cosine, which is going to be at 1 pi. Then halfway between our starting and our middle point is going to be at pi over 2 at the midline. Then I'm going up by pi over 2 every time, so I know that my fourth point there is at 3 pi over 2. So my first cycle or first period kind of looks like this. Pardon the wobbly line there. And then I'm going to just repeat that idea, right? So I'm going up by pi to get to the middle. I should probably do this not in orange. Let's do brown. 3 pi. Then it ends at the maximum as well. Halfway is, 5 pi over 2, 6 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2, which gives me my other 2 middle points. I'm maybe breezing through this a little bit too fast, but hopefully you understand that each of these points is just halfway between the next one, and all of my points are either going to land on the maximum, minimum, or midline. So 2 cycles looks like this, the purple and the brown put together. That gives me my final graph here for cosine.